Jessica Koch. You guessed it, the host of Profound Professionals. We have been bringing you industry experts from all over the world for more than 7 years now. If you've been following us for that long, or you just found us, I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for liking and sharing. I want to thank you for making our community possible. You share the brilliance of these amazing industry experts that I bring to you, as well as causes they care about, tips they share, books they love and have written, and so much more. So we're happy today, as always, to have Maartje. She helps entrepreneurs and leaders command business turmoil. When I read that, I said, what? Wait, we're causing turmoil? What's going on here? I don't know. I'm very confused. Welcome, Maartje. Please explain, what turmoil are we talking about here?
Hi, Jessica. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here. So what I mean by business turmoil is that I think we all recognize that it feels like the world is spinning around its axis at twice the original speed, right? And although it physically isn't, the amount of information generated in this world on a daily basis, the amount of events happening and how interconnected they are and how that impacts how you're trying to navigate as an entrepreneur or as a business leader, it's hard. There is just a lot going on and there's change upon change. And so what I help leaders and entrepreneurs with is to get some fit for purpose skills to deal with that turmoil, right? Because if you get so much thrown at you, you'll find yourself from time to time with your back against the wall, kind of like, all right, it appears that everything happened out of sync, and now, well, how do I restart from here, right? And so yeah, I help people figure out ways to get out of those moments quicker and turn around in these moments quicker, so that you can keep innovating and progressing, and get stuck less frequently.
So when you work with people, is it one-on-one? Is it group coaching? Is it a program? Is it an online course? What do we got going on?
So I've always done a lot of in-house consulting, right? So I work with clients a couple of weeks to a couple of months at a time. I've taken my program now also to a place where I can help individuals with some initial master classes, which for solo entrepreneurs or for certain leaders might be enough to give them some access to tools and some reminders of stuff that's useful in these situations. And then I have an implementation support program on the back of that for people who want more. So it depends a little bit on what you need. I do one to small groups, one-to-one, but it's usually the whole team then, right? It's usually not the individual. I do some individual leadership coaching, which is usually short and on very specific situations.
So if you're watching this, we're going to have in the description, wherever you find our show, we're going to have in the description ways you can reach out to Maartje. We'll have her website and her contact information, her social media, and you can find out what programs she might have available during the time that you have stumbled across our episode. So is there a tip you could share with someone that would make an impact for their business today?
Yes, I think what's important, if you find yourself even in a moment that it's all kind of happening at the same time, right? And you're not sure where to start, that in those moments, one step is often enough, right? So if you're completely overwhelmed and in a high emotional state, I think we can recognize these things. My tip would be to see if you can take a little bit of time, 20 minutes, 24 hours to get yourself to a slightly calmer space, because with emotions high, everything is hard. But if you do need to move, if you feel it's down to you to take charge, one step, right? Think of what's the one step I can take in this situation. Take one step, take a second step. And action is reaction. I'm an engineer, so I like physics laws. Action is reaction. If you start moving and start showing which direction you're trying to go into, people will start moving with you. Mm-hmm. And once they start to see clearer and clearer, they will start helping you from their own capacity and capability, right? So start moving, get to a place where more people can help and where things are slightly calmer or moving by themselves again. And then if you find yourself regularly in these situations, right, then you probably want to implement some tools to do this quicker or better or faster in the next time.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Just taking that first next right step is just really brilliant advice. Now, one of the reasons we started this show so many years ago was we wanted to do something beyond ourselves, right? Beyond the amazing industry guest, beyond spreading and growing our own promotions. And we wanted to take that moment and talk about causes that were special to the guests that we had on. And it's a way to spread awareness so that someone who might need it might learn about it from our show. There's just millions of amazing nonprofits and organizations out there in the world. And, that kind of excites me. So what is near and dear to your heart?
Okay, well, I'm originally from Amsterdam, but I live in New Orleans, a city I love. And I love that the city is very alive, and I love Mardi Gras and everything that comes with it. So I'm part of a Mardi Gras crew called the Crew of Dollies. So that's 200 dolly partons for you coming down the parade. And
That's
so, of course,
a lot of dolly.
and a load of hair. So Dolly's cause, of course, is the imagination library and getting as many as we can open across the country. So that's my cause.
I love that.
Literacy and the imagination libraries, but in general, right? Look at Dolly and all the causes she supports. What's not to like there?
She's a lovely human. I think she's a riot and beautiful and talented. So I just and I never knew about this cause. So that is why I get so excited about what I get to do. It's these amazing shows. So right from Dolly's inspiration and imagination, we're going to go into a book that inspired your personal life or helped you grow your business, not written by you. So what's a book that really supported you?
Yeah, so the first thing I could think of is this kid's book, children's book that I actually is normally on the wall behind me. So it's a Dutch children's book, and it's called Pluk van de Pettenflat. So it's about a boy who lives in an apartment building, and he has a little red tow truck. And so this is one of the most famous Dutch illustrators who makes really the most inspirational drawings. And she lived till a really old age and has an amazing cover of work. And all the pictures make you happy. But what I like about this is that it's an apartment building full of society misfits, right? Who make it work together, and they care so much about each other. And they stand up for all sorts of causes and collaborate to save all sorts of people and animals. And so to me, this is a special book also because I was in a little Montessori school. And by the time I got to the higher classes, I was often done with my work quite early. So I was allowed to read this to the kindergartners every day for 20 minutes. So it has a very special place in my heart because I probably know the book from beginning to end, backwards and forwards. But the characters in it are amazing and I think are inspirational at any age.
Do they have is it written in Dutch or do they have it in English?
There are English versions available. Yes.
Well, we'll have to try to see if we can twist her arm to give us the link and help us find the English version because it sounds lovely. It sounds beautiful. My daughter goes to Montessori school now and we love it. So what a beautiful story. What a beautiful book. And I'm so glad that I asked this question for every guest because I always hear of a book I'd never heard of before. And how wonderful for all of us to be able to be impacted that way. So let's see. Have you written any books?
I'm writing a book that isn't out yet, but I've been part of an anthology, started by some other amazing women based out of Pittsburgh, written during the time of the pandemic. So it's called 21. And it's about 20 women and how they navigated their businesses through COVID, right? And through the start of the pandemic and made it out the other end. So yeah, it's available on Amazon and I can provide the links, etc. Yeah. It's called 21. And it's amazing stories of resiliency, but also amazing, right? If you see what all these women do and these businesses and the variation and the reasons, their whys for doing it, I find it very inspirational.
I think that is beautiful, and it's a piece of our history. So that's really, some people in 100 years from now will be referring back to your book to see the different things that occurred in our time, and they'll get to find that. So I love that.
Yes.
So I want to thank you for being such an amazing guest. I want to thank you for watching and sharing and loving and promoting us so that so many great humans get to learn about these experts, about these books, about the tips and the information that they share so freely and so kindly. If you're an industry expert, you should be on our show. Contact us. Share this with other industry experts too, because you could be their hero, because they'll be featured and reach a whole bunch of new audience members to follow what they do. So before we say goodbye, though, we are going to ask our lovely guest for one final piece of information or inspiration to share with you. So what's a final thought for us?
I want to share a quote from a movie called The New Exotic Marigold Hotel. It's a British movie, but it plays in India, where I lived for 4.5 years. Lovely movie, but the quote is, "Everything will be all right in the end. And if it's not yet all right, it cannot be the end." Right? So often when we find ourselves in turmoil, it's all a lot. And then we start to feel as if we're getting out and we reach another bump, right? Take a deep breath. Everything will be all right in the end. And if it's not yet all right, it cannot be the end.
That is a beautiful quote. Another one I haven't heard, and I love it. And now I've got a movie I can watch too. See, the gifts keep coming when you come to our show. So thank you for that. I hope you've enjoyed being a guest on our show as much as we've enjoyed having you.
It was fabulous. Very
I
nice.
love
Thank you.
that. All right, everyone. That's a wrap. That's another Profound Professionals. Stick around. Keep following us. Keep watching. Keep sharing. Keep loving. And remember, until next time, be kind to yourself and be kind to each other. Bye, everybody.